Hello, everybody. I'm Tim Ryan here at the Silver Dome, and you've got two teams at 5 and 9, 2 games remaining, both very much on an upward curve. With me, my broadcast partner, Randy Klopp. And Randy, talking with Ray Perkins, he has a feeling that they can win the final 2 games and really be set up well for 1990 with his young team.
Well, the Bucs have the usual attitude of a team with a losing record. They want to get the last couple wins in to build momentum for 1990. Very key for them is their quarterback. Vinny Testaverde has proved that he can put good stats up now, but he's yet to prove that he can win on a consistent level. And winning this game, according to Coach Perkins, depends on stopping Barry Sanders. He says you got to make the Lions pass the ball. He says Barry Sanders won't get 100 yards on us.
A bold prediction by Ray Perkins. He's been getting 100 yards on most teams this season. Now, for Wayne Fonts and his Lions, a very upbeat streak of 3 wins in a row, 2 games to go, and they have good feelings about the final game.
This whole area is really enthused about the Detroit Lions. To Detroit, this is their conference championship game. Next week is their Super Bowl. Something to look for when Tampa has the ball. Strong safety Benny Blade said to us, I know Vinny pretty good. I think William White, the other safety, and I can fool Vinny into throwing the ball into coverage. Look for some interceptions by the Detroit defensive backfield.
All right, Randy. Well, it is 2 degrees outside in Michigan. You saw in the NFL today some cold temperatures elsewhere in the Midwest today. Inside football here, though, so whatever home field advantage these hardy Michiganers might have had, they gave up to the Southerners from Tampa by playing this game indoors. Kicking off for Tampa Bay will be John Carney. He had been in their camp, had a good preseason out of Notre Dame, signed Wednesday when Ray Perkins, just continuing to be unhappy with the kickoff of Igwebuike, decided he wanted some more length, and it'll be Mel Gray returning for Detroit. Leading the conference in kickoff returns. For Carney, an opportunity to prove himself here and insert himself into a competition. 2 place kickers in the lineup. Donald Igwebuike will kick the field goals today, but he has had only 26% of his kickoffs into the end zone this year, 17 out of 65. In the past 4 weeks, only 1 of 19 kickoffs reached the end zone. Thus, number 3, John Carney getting a chance today.
A line drive shot from Carney bounces into the end zone. Gray will bring it out. Good return for Mel Gray. Ricky Reynolds steered him out, but not before he got over the 35-yard line. Well, let's see now. They're going to mark he stepped out at the 33. Bob Galliano, 13 of 23 last week in the Lions' 3rd consecutive victory, threw 1 interception, but a harmless one, and indeed ran for a touchdown in that game, working again in relief of Rodney Peete. Brown, Andlesick, Kevin Glover, Ken Dallafor, Sanders taking over the spot when Harvey Salem went on injured reserve. Sanders alone running back. Johnson, Phillips, rookie John Ford, and Clark, the wide receivers in the run and shoot. Galliano flushed, winds up with about a 5-yard gain. It'll leave 2nd and 5 for Detroit. Defensively, the Buccaneers, Reuben Davis and Robert Goff on the ends. Sean Lee for the injured Kurt Jarvis, who went on injured reserve after a knee injury last week. Murphy, Marv, Randall, and Moss, they have been an outstanding linebacking core all season long. Ray Perkins saying Murphy and Moss should be Pro Bowlers this year. Reynolds and Jones on the corner. Hamilton and Robinson, a very good pair of safeties. Futrell and Elder come in on the passing downs, and we'll probably see a lot of that against the run and shoot. 2nd and a long 5, close to 6. Barry Sanders doing his thing for a 1st down to midfield. Ricky Reynolds forced him out. Randy Cross, as usual, it didn't look like there was a lot of room for Barry Sanders. Suddenly a 13-yard gain.
Exactly, Tim. Steve McMichael from the Bears told us last week that Detroit doesn't have any real runs. Most of their runs are draws. Well, that was a classic example. It was set up very, very late, given to Barry. The Ducks had stuffed it real well inside, but he does very, very well. One thing he does real well is he bounces. He's got such quick feet. He took that outside, and you've got to have contained responsibility from the linebackers against Barry Sanders.
So Detroit at midfield here on the opening series. Jason Phillips in motion, number 24. Intended out the right side for Stanley, a flag down. maybe interference called against the Buccaneers, probably Donnie Elder, number 40. The referee is Pat Haggerty. Now, Wayne Fonts wanted Galliano to not give up the ball. One interception last week, a harmless one. There is the interference signal, and I think he got a little lucky there, Randy, because that was good coverage, even though it was illegal coverage. It wasn't the best target.
Defensive pass interference, number 40. First down.
Elder is the man charged with interference.
Well, exactly. You know, Ray Perkins told us, I've got a real problem with the officiating this year in the NFL. And you see the contact was made. That clearly was a good call. The thing that was kind of interesting about that call was made by the head linesman, Sid Simon, who was all the way on the other side of the field. So he had the view to see the right arm of that defensive back make the contact first.
First down, Lions, nonetheless, inside the 40 of Tampa Bay. Look out, Sanders. To the 5-yard line where Donnie Elder made the tackle. The toughest shot he took before that was from his own man.
Exactly. That's a play we saw against Chicago Bears last week with Delafour comes out and pulls, and they ran it last week as a quick trap inside. That time, we're going to see Sanders is going to take it. Now watch the defensive end. Watch Thomas. 51 is in as a nickel pass rusher. He goes outside of Thomas. And from here on, it's all Barry Sanders. Watch his legs and the way he moves and those feet. He has the ability to cut back. Guys can't grab him. You can't arm tackle Barry Sanders.
Sanders on first down gets to the 2-yard line. He needs 95 yards today to tie the rookie rushing record set here in Detroit by the great Billy Sims. And he is off to a good start. Despite Perkins' prediction, they would hold him to under 100.
That's one of the interesting things that always comes from a coach when a coach makes a prediction. I haven't seen a coach yet that got out there and made a tackle or completed a pass. He's got to have those guys that he puts on the field help him out.
Now the Lions go to their jumbo offense on short yardage near the goal line. Chris Gamble, Trevor Maddich, and Jerry Ball, the defensive nose tackle, coming in for extra blocking, along with fullback Tony Page. Sanders is stopped. A good defensive play by the linebacker Winston Moss, number 58, with help from Eugene Marv, 99.
And we talked about Jerry Ball, number 93, their nose tackle, coming in at tight end in their short yardage and goal line jumbo offense. The Lions told us 2 days ago that every time he comes on the field, the offensive linemen go, Jerry, please don't hold. Keep your hands in. Don't hold these guys.
He also told Coach Wayne Fonts, look, I know there's a play in here that you can throw the ball to me, but if the game's in doubt, please don't. You got to love that guy. What a defensive year he's having. Randy Cross quoted in Detroit papers saying ball ought to be in the Pro Bowl. Third down and goal. 4 receivers spread across. Touchdown. Richard Johnson. Richard Johnson, 59 catches coming into the game. A free agent, led the USFL in receiving back in 84 and 85. Mouse Davis gave him a shot here, and he has been doing the job. Eddie Murray will attempt the point after. An impressive opening drive for the Detroit Lions with help from an interference penalty and a 34-yard run by Sanders. It is good.
This is yet another example of the difficult situation you put a defense in. They had the big linemen in before. Now they've got the little guys in. The defense has to adjust, but they don't adjust well enough. Johnson sits down right in the hole. He's right where the guy is supposed to be. Touchdown.
Tim Ryan and Randy Cross here at the Silverdome. The Lions have taken a 7-0 lead, going 67 yards in 6 plays, using up 347. A good kickoff return by Mel Gray, setting it up And then a 34-yard dash by Barry Sanders. An interference call helping along the way, and a 2-yard pass, Galliano, to Richard Johnson. Murray's high, short kickoff taken at the 23 and dropped by Sylvester Stamps. Buccaneers maintain possession. Wilder grabbed it at the 22-yard line. So the Bucs with their first offensive opportunity. Vinny Testaverde set a team record in completions last week in a losing cause against Houston. 31 of 48 passes. They have become an aerial team. Gruber, McHale, Randy Grimes, Mark Cooper, the starter at right guard today. Rob Taylor at right tackle, and Ron Hall, the tight end. Tate and Wilder, the running backs. Mark Carrier with 76 catches coming into the game. A Pro Bowl hope for him. A little swing out to Lars Tate, and Tate bashes his way for about 8 yards to the 28-yard line, where Dennis Gibson, the linebacker, number 98, stops him. Tate, number 34, the second-year man from Georgia. Eric Williams with Jerry Ball on the nose, Kevin Brooks on the right end. Toby Caston comes in on passing downs. And another solid linebacking core like Tampa Bay's. Williams, Spielman, Gibson, and Michael Kofer. Kofer and Gibson both with injury problems, but playing. Terry Taylor, bothered by a hamstring, starting again today at left corner. He lasted through the first period against Chicago last week and had to come out. Tate. Good running by Lars Tate. First down for Tampa Bay out to the 37, maybe 38-yard line.
Charlie Sanders, the tight end receivers coach for the Detroit Lions, Tim, told me before the game, we're a little concerned about our players. Although Detroit's come out and drove the ball the length of the field and made a touchdown, Charlie Sanders and the coaching staff is very concerned with their intensity level. Are they taking the Tampa Bay Bucks just a little too lightly?
Well, you see Cincinnati on top of Houston early, and Green Bay a touchdown up over Chicago at Soldier Field. Keith Woodside going 68 yards for the score. Out of the backfield, James Wilder, good for about 4. Wilder had a crucial fumble last week against Houston. His first fumble of the season, and a costly one for a guy who's done so much for this Tampa Bay team. A bit of bad luck a week ago. Gibson and Spielman on the stop.
Well, this Tampa team's been a little bit snake bitten. Ray Perkins was saying, look how many games we've lost by 1 point. Heck, they lost 3 in a row by 1 point, which is an NFL record. He says our record is nowhere an indication of how good this team really is.
Second down and 6. And it'll be close to the first down. Now it's spotted about a yard short. So that'll leave third down and a long yard for the Bucs at the 46-yard line in Tampa Bay territory. Spielman tripped him up.
You know, Tim, when I talked about those last second games, they were involved in 2 of those games they won, and 1 was a last-second loss.
So tight contest for Tampa Bay, and teams that can put those close wins together wind up with very good records. A young team on the rise like Tampa Bay simply has to learn how to win them all. Good defensive play. Benny Blades in front of Hall, Ron Hall, the tight end. Perfectly timed dive by Benny Blades will bring up a punt.
Well, Benny Blades told us yesterday he thought Hall was the receiver he had to be the most concerned with, that Hall was their main weapon for first downs, and I think Blades got away with a little pass interference there, to be honest with you, because he was all over Hall when the ball got there.
Chris Moore comes in to punt. Rookie from Alabama, with Walter Stanley waiting for it at the 11-yard line of Detroit. Stanley dances to the 18-yard line. And Detroit has stopped Tampa's first offensive try. They come back leading 7-0. A hero of yesteryear, Billy Sims, a great Heisman Trophy running back who was such a star here in Detroit, stayed for the game today. Was in Detroit earlier in the week on business. Wanted to stay and see if Barry Sanders could break his record Sanders has 49 yards so far. He needs 95 to break the rookie record of Billy Sims here in Detroit. And he has a good chance of breaking Sims' all-time seasonal Detroit record. First down, Galliano out to Jason Phillips. Gets about 2 and is stopped at the 20-yard line. Randy, you had a chance to talk to Billy Sims yesterday.
He just marveled about Barry Sanders. He says, even though he's from that other school in Oklahoma, he says, this guy is amazing. He reminds Billy Sims a lot of himself. You know, Billy's a much bigger guy. Billy was 6'6", but Barry and he have the same thing. Their lower body strength was really the pillar of their game.
Billy Sims is in excellent physical shape. He looks like he could still suit up for them. Second down, 8. Lions just outside their own 20. Galliano for Phillips, and that is incomplete. Mark Robinson and Phillips complaining about interference, and I think you pointed out the interference call against Tampa the last series was not such a good one. Here's one they got away with, so they're even now.
Well, this is, you get a replay here, we'll be able to appreciate how difficult a referee's job is. Watch it. Now, when you slow it down that slow, it's very clear that Robinson got there before the ball. You run that at normal speed and show that, it looks simultaneous. That's one of the things about replays. If you didn't have replay, I think everything would work out about the same. Things trade off. You live with the good calls, and you live with the bad calls, and you like the good calls.
Leaves a 3rd and 8. Galliano going deep. Intended for Clark. And that's overthrown, but 2 defenders on him. Rod Jones, the corner, picking him up. And Harry Hamilton, the safety.
This is a very tough Tampa Bay defense. I think what Detroit's doing right now is they're trying to stretch it out a little bit to open up those zone areas between the linebackers and the defensive back, because these long bombs and the long passes have not been what Detroit does best so far this year.
Willie Drury awaiting the punt from Jim Arnold. Arnold standing at his 6. Dandy punt. Backing up Drury all the way inside his 25. And a good return for Drury to the 43-yard line. Keith Karpinski made the tackle there. We'll be back to the Silverdome in a moment.
Back here in the Silverdome with Detroit leading 7-0. Randy Cross and Tim Ryan. And we alluded earlier to these one-point games, these close shaves that Tampa has had so far this season. 3 of those games being lost, 2 games being wins, 1 being a loss, and last week by 3 points, another loss to Houston.
First down, and a loose ball recovered by the Buccaneers. Ron Hall, the tight end, alertly diving in there. An exchange problem between Grimes and Testaverde, and a loss on the play of nearly a yard. Leaves 2nd and 11.
Well, that can be a danger anytime when a center gets very, very concerned of having a nose guard like Jerry Ball right on him. You see how close number 93 Ball is, and he's moving before the snap. Grimes sees him move, and then he snaps the ball, but by then Vinny is backed away, and the quarterback's not even there.
3 wide receivers now. Carrier, Drury, and Bruce Hill on 2nd down. For the sideline, picked off. Jerry Holmes. Second interception of the season for Vinny Testaverde. Lions ball at midfield.
Now watch Vinny's eyes. Watch the quarterback's eyes. He's looking that way the whole way, throws it out here, and Holmes gets a good break on the ball and just dives in front and makes a good catch for an interception.
Carrier, the intended receiver, but Holmes had it all away. So the Lions with a turnover and a first down right at the 50-yard line. Good protection for Galliano. Diving attempt And a pass a little off the mark intended for Clark. And a flag down back in the offensive backfield. Pat Haggerty, the referee, will sort that out. It's going to be against the Lions, who are backing up, likely a holding call.
It looked to be Dallafor, number 67, going against Kevin Murphy, 59.
Holding, number 64. Offense, still first down.
Correct that. Eric Sanders, number 64. Way at the top of the screen, we see 64 Sanders going against number 79, sorry, Davis, and you see him ride him to the ground right there, and the referee's right on top of it. Anytime the hands get outside the plane of the body, it's going to happen every time. The ref will flag that.
So it's 1st and 20 now for the Lions from the 40-yard line of Detroit. Galliano rolling left, comes back to the right side to Richard Johnson. Ricky Reynolds stopped him after a gain of 5. It'll leave 2nd and 15. Bears have come back to tie Green Bay. Big one for Minnesota today. They're scoreless against Cleveland, and Cincinnati continuing to lead Houston. Pittsburgh still alive. And likewise Miami. They're on top of Indianapolis.
Well, if Green Bay has any hope of staying in the playoff chase, they have got to win that game today. A loss completely eliminates them.
2nd and 15. Galliano with a lot of time, and now finally finds a target, Stanley, but it is incomplete. For an NFL update, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
All right, Tim, the Green Bay Packers struggling to stay alive in their pursuit of a playoff berth. What a spectacular run from scrimmage by Keith Woodside. This put the Pack up 7-0. Bears tied it, but now the Packers have scored a second touchdown, 14-7, Green Bay back to 10.
Great start in that ball game on a cold day in Chicago. Last report we had out of there, 15 above with a wind chill factor of -2 at Soldier Field.
They call that football weather back here in the Midwest.
Yeah, right. Yeah, last week was balmy. They came against Detroit, 35 above. 3rd and 15. Galliano again, good protection. Wide open, Jason Phillips. Touchdown. Galliano. He was learning to become a fireman a year ago after being with 4 teams in the NFL and not sticking with any of them. Signed a free agent contract, backed up Rodney Peete, got a chance to play against Cleveland on Thanksgiving Day, and he is having some fun. First NFL touchdown for young Jason Phillips out of the University of Houston. Murray with the point after. And the Lions jump into a 14-0 lead.
Buck safety Mark Robinson told us yesterday, you've got to be very careful with these slot receivers. They get jumped out on the sideline about 20 yards downfield, and you tend to lose them. Sometimes you drop coverage. Well, look what happened. There's nobody around him. The nearest guy to Phillips right there is up in the stands selling Coke.
So the hometown Lions with a 14-0 lead in the first quarter. 14-0. Murray, another short kickoff. Donnie Elder inside the 20. It's out to about the 28-yard line.
Those short kicks are intentional. They want to do that. Frank Ganser, special teams coach, feels they get better elevation, and it increases the chances of coverage getting within 7 to 10 yards when the guy catches the ball. Here we have another shot at the touchdown, and Phillips went in motion. What happened was all the receivers on that side, there were 3 of them. There was Johnson, there was Clark, there was Phillips. They all crossed each other, and when they crossed each other, someone obviously dropped coverage and left Phillips completely wide open.
So Tampa Bay will start first down from their 27-yard line. Lars Tate gets about 2. The met by the linebacker Spielman to make it Stamps, the ball carrier, 24, not 34. Well, at the Silver Dome, where everything is comfortable inside, outside it is -2 here in the Detroit, Michigan area. And the Detroit Lions have jumped into a 14-0 lead.
And what we've seen so far is the Detroit defense has played fairly well, and the Detroit offense with the run and shoot that is really executing to perfection. They're getting the ball to the wide receivers, and Tampa's so concerned with Barry Sanders in opening up the passing game for the Lions.
And an interception by Jerry Holmes on Vinny Testaverde, leading to the Lions' second score. Testaverde in difficulty. Jerry Ball and Kevin Brooks combined to stop him behind the line of scrimmage. First sack of the day.
Well, the people in Tampa like to talk about Vinny Testaverde and how he can move around. But this Jerry Ball, number 93, and Brooks, 97, are no real match for Testaverde. They can run him down. These guys have got real good speed. Watch Ball in the middle, 93. First one guy hits, then two guys hit him. Vinny starts to scramble out. Vinny's got the angle. He should be able to get away. Not this time.
The speed of Jerry Ball is truly remarkable for a man over 300 pounds. 4 wide receivers in on third down for Tampa Bay. And that one overthrown, intended for Bruce Hill. Pressure coming from Eric Williams.
And Benny Blades and William White are in the middle of the field banging helmets. Benny Blades could have had an interception. That ball was thrown where he could get it, but he was so intent on leveling the receiver, he didn't see the ball.
A good pressure defense by the Lions, forcing Tampa Bay to punt. Walter Stanley waiting for it at the 30-yard line of the Lions. Leading punt returner in the NFL. He wants that title. Moore's punt comes down at the 35-yard line. Stanley is going to be dropped back for a loss. Donnie Elder, number 40, as Stanley tried to turn away. Elder put on a burst of speed and stopped him. So the Lions will start from their 32-yard line.
And here we see the rushing leaders in 1989. This is updated to right now with Barry Sanders' 1,257 yards. And he is right here. It's pretty amazing coming onto a team like the Detroit Lions that Sanders can get the support out of an offensive line that a lot of people really doubted as to how much ability they have.
Well, right, and you include the fact that Harvey Salem and Mike Utley, Steve Mott, all on injured reserve. 3 guys who figure to be starters for the Lions really haven't played much of this season. So it is a high tribute, and there's a proud father, William Sanders, here. Traveled from Wichita to Chicago to watch his son last week. Enjoyed that 2-touchdown performance. He's here today. First down, Lions. Galliano, flush this time, has running room out the right side, and may have gotten to the marker. It'll be close. Good effort by Bob Galliano. Coach Wayne Font said when he ran for that touchdown last week that it took him 5 minutes to run 20 yards.
Well, Galliano said, was that a 30-yard run last week? What do you mean it was only 14?
You have to admire this guy's attitude, Randy. You knew him when he had a cup of coffee with the 49ers. He signs a free agent contract. He's really conducted himself well, knowing that Rodney Pete's the quarterback of the future here.
Exactly, but he had that experience with the Denver Gold in the USFL when Mouse Davis was there, and Mouse never forgot Bob Galliano. Galliano's got poise and he's got class, and for a backup quarterback, you can't really ask for much more than that.
Second down, about a foot they need, and Sanders got it with a second effort, hit behind the line by Kevin Murphy, the linebacker, number 59, that's squirting forward for the first down. Galliano is 4 of 7, 64 yards and a touchdown. And Sanders crosses the 50-yard mark in rushing.
Tim, as good as this run and shoot looks, I think a lot of people are going to start looking at it and saying, well, gee, what can we use from this offense? Look how well Detroit executed this year with the run and shoot. You take Barry Sanders out of the run and shoot here in Detroit, it is very, very average. It's his running that has made the passing game effective. Defenses have to take him into effect.
On the first down, Galliano pumps once, comes the other way, And now he'll run it again. To the 37-yard line of Tampa Bay. Galloping Galliano. Not known as a speedy quarterback. Twice now flushed and turned them into first down. 19 yards on this one.
The biggest problem here is Tampa is really getting no effective quick pressure on the quarterback, which is very key in the run and shoot. Galliano gives him a few pump fakes. Everybody drops off. I mean, Bob spent a few years behind Joe Montana watching him and the ability to move around and when do you run and when do you get out of bounds, but the two will never be confused as far as foot speed goes.
32 yards on 3 rushes for Galliano. And a delay flag against Detroit, using more than the allowable to get the play.
Delay of game, offense.
So that'll back it up to the 42-yard line for Tampa Bay. I think Galliano just wanted to get his breath back. Green Bay leading the Bears 14-7. No score yet at Cleveland. 7-degree temperatures there.
Cincinnati out to a 14-0 lead over Houston. That is a crucial game. Houston cannot play outside of the Astrodome.
1st and 15 for the Lions. Sideliner to Clark, can't hold on. A little high. Rod Jones on the coverage, number 22. Houston can clinch a division title by beating Cincinnati today, and as Randy just said, they're trailing at the moment. They're 9-5 atop the AFC Central. Cleveland, of course, if they win their game and Cincinnati loses to the Houston Oilers, if Houston loses, then Cleveland can keep the picture in their hands.
It's that time of the year, Tim. Every game you go into, there's about 800 different possibilities.
2nd and 15 for the Lions. Sanders gets to the 34-yard line. It'll leave 3rd down and a long 9 for the Detroit Lions here. Harry Hamilton made the stop.
You look at Barry Sanders' jersey. He's got that lineman's carpet tape on his shoulder pads, and he lays his jersey on top of that carpet tape. That jersey adheres so much, guys can't grab him. Wayne Fonts a couple weeks ago decided that my running back is not going to be tackled by his jersey anymore. And you see him cutting and squirting through these holes. No one yet in the last 2 or 3 weeks has been able to bring him down by his shirt. You've only got 4 inches of shirt you can grab on the sleeve.
3rd down. Galliano with time as a 1st down pass to Robert Clark. To the 25-yard line, Bobby Futrell and the nickel defense, number 36, pushed him out of bounds, but not before the 1st down.
In the run and shoot, the pass drops are not that deep. Look at this. It's a 5-step drop, and nobody's in Galliano's face. He sees his man come open, drills it over there. Good job by Detroit. Poor job on defense by the Tampa Bay Bucs. Effective job by Lomas Brown, number 75, and Eric Andelsick, number 65, working against Tampa Bay. They've got...
Sanders this time is stuffed for a loss of about 2 by Reuben Davis, number 79. Davis playing with a very sore shoulder. There's even some question that he'd be able to go, but when we saw him in the hotel last night, he said, "I'll be there. I want to play." Final minute of the 1st quarter. And you may have noticed number 51, Broderick Thomas, in action for Tampa Bay as well. He's been getting more time as a pass rusher, and it's been all Detroit so far. 164 yards to 24. 2nd down and 12. Galliano, he's got Stanley wide open. Stanley gets a 1st down. Futrell made the stop as time winds out in this 1st quarter at the Silverdome. The Lions finding wide open receivers. So at the end of one from the Silverdome, the Detroit Lions 14, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers nothing. Downtown Detroit, we're out in Pontiac, and indoor football this afternoon on a frigid day in Michigan. A 14-0 Detroit lead, and they're threatening again. There's Mouse Davis, and you know there was a lot of scorn heaped on this guy when he put in this offense this year, but he's proven it is effective.
Earlier in the year, everybody said, this is just long yardage passing. It's not that difficult. If it's not so difficult, how come guys are so wide open?
Boy, are they ever. We've seen 3 today with at least 10 yards on each side of the open receiver. This is Sanders. They string him out well. Rod Jones finally got some help to knock him down for a loss. So twice Barry Sanders has been stopped for losses. Good reaction defensively by Tampa Bay.
And that was the case where Barry Sanders may have been better served to just sort of duck up, take his 1-yard gain and be happy. But when a guy's got that kind of ability, his first instinct is to always try to make something happen.
A loss of 7 on the play for Sanders.
Detroit 9-1 over Tampa in first down. That is unbelievable.
It has been all Detroit. Sanders trying the off tackle, cuts it inside and picks up about 5. It'll leave 3rd down and 11 at the 15 of Tampa Bay.
You know, that first yardage stat, what makes that all the more impressive is the run and shoot has never been thought of as being a real ball control, methodical type of an offense. It's always been looked at as kind of a big play gimmick offense. But Detroit has managed to use it to control the line of scrimmage and to control the ball. But having a ball like a running back like Barry Sanders has made Wayne Fonts and Mouse Davis's job as coaches a lot easier.
They've had 11 plays in this drive to back up your point. And they've had the ball for over 10 minutes compared to 5:49 for Tampa Bay. Sideliner almost picked off. Walter Stanley did a good job to get an arm on Futrell, or Futrell would have had that ball in an open field ahead of him.
Well, Tampa Bay finally got good pressure in Galliano's face. Watch Futrell, number 36, break on the ball right now. Look at him go for the ball. He can see it right there. He's thinking 6, and fine play by Walter Stanley grabbing that left arm and preventing an interception.
So a close call for Galliano and company there. Eddie Murray attempting from the 23-yard line, a 33-yard attempt. And Eddie Murray widens the Lions lead 17-0 early second quarter at the Silverdome. NFC playoff. Giants clinched yesterday. Minnesota, if they win today, they're in. Washington and Green Bay have to win today to stay alive. And in the AFC, Denver's clinched the home field all the way through. Houston, a win today would clinch the Central for them, and obviously a whole bunch of teams are hoping to stay in the rest of this race with only 2 games to play. Who do you like in the conference finals each side?
Well, in the NFC, I like the San Francisco 49ers to play at Candlestick Park against the Philadelphia Eagles. And on the AFC side, I think it's going to be snowy Mile High Stadium with the Broncos and the Oilers.
Broncos and the Oilers. That'll be kind of interesting. You've already pointed out Houston hasn't been playing well on the road all season long. So that'll be a tough place for them to have to go. But Denver's going to be at home no matter what. Murray's kickoff comes down at the 15. Donnie Elder there. Gets out to the 22-yard line. Stopped there by John Miller, number 44. Let's go to Brent Musburger for an NFL update.
Well, Tim, here is Chicago's second touchdown against Green Bay. Pretty pass from Harbaugh to Neil Anderson, and it's tied at 14. Hey, Tim, did I hear Randy Cross say Houston? They're down 21 points to Cincinnati. Back to Tim.
Wow. Well, you're allowed to revise your opinion. I like Houston, too, but obviously they're in trouble today.
Well, as a lot of teams have learned in recent weeks, it ain't over till it's over.
21-0. On first down, William Howard, number 43, the second-year back out of Tennessee, gets about a yard. Boomer Esiason has thrown 2 touchdown passes to Eddie Brown in this game. James Brooks ran 14 yards for the other touchdown. First quarter. So the Oilers will have to get something going to get down at Cincinnati. I would want to be 21-0 down to them anytime, but outdoors at Cincinnati, wow. Testaverde intended for Peebles, incomplete. Number 83, the rookie out of North Carolina State, wearing that eye guard because he was poked in the eye a few weeks ago. Brent told you Green Bay and the Bears tied up at 14. And look at this one, still scoreless in the second period on the frozen field of Cleveland. Pittsburgh trying to stay alive. Miami likewise. Caston is in as a pass rusher for the Lions. Griffin and Crockett are in the secondary on 3rd and long. Short shotgun situation. Pressure from Ball forces him out. He can make the yardage and does. Tampa Bay first down on the scramble by Testaverde out to the 44-yard line. So rather than the arm of the former Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, it's the run of Vinny that gets him up close to midfield.
But that's the kind of play, along with the arm he had in college, that made him a Heisman Trophy winner. People were so impressed by his leadership, his ability to read defenses, get out there, make a run if he has to.
Ray Perkins happy with the rate of progress by Testaverde this year, and feels that next year, as he described it, he should be a polished performer. On first down, it'll flip out to James Wilder, who gets about 2. Dennis Gibson stops him there. Terry Taylor tripped him up. Griffin comes in and Gibson comes out. They get an extra back in here on 2nd and a long 7.
And Ray Perkins has some interesting things to say about Testaverde, and you see the standings there with the remaining schedules for the two teams really still in contention.
Testaverde is going to be dropped right at the line of scrimmage by Mike Cofer, number 55. Perkins had some interesting things to say about this guy, too.
Oh, exactly. He said without the injuries that he's had this year, he believes Mike Cofer is every bit as good as Lawrence Taylor of the New York Giants.
He likes his size and his speed. 6'5", 240-pounder.
You know, we talked about, or I did, about Ray Perkins talking about Vinny Testaverde. He said, I expect my quarterback to know all 11 responsibilities on the defensive side, all 11 on the offensive side, and now Vinny knows football.
4 wide receivers for Testaverde on 3rd down, and he's in trouble. Sacked. Lawrence Keith, number 96, the rookie from Nebraska, and the quarterback is down and hurt. Vinny Testaverde.
Well, Vinny was trying to get away just as Pete, number 96, grabbed him down around the lower body and dragged him down. And you'll see the reason why Vinny Testaverde couldn't get this ball off. He doesn't have a chance really to go to too many receivers. The pass rush gets to him, and his leg, you see his foot get caught right underneath Pete's left hip right there and gets pinned to the turf.
Well, as Buccaneer fans know, their only other quarterback is the veteran 39-year-old Joe Ferguson. And there is Ferguson, and he will likely be in action here because they're helping Testaverde off. It is 4th down, so Moore will come in to punt on the next play.
And Joe Ferguson just turned 40 this week for the Tampa Bay Bucs. And according to the Tampa Bay coaches, it's pretty much up to him. They believe he's got another year or so left at 40 years old in the NFL.
Ferguson will get warmed up. Testaverde 4 of 7 at this point for just 18 yards and an interception that led to the second Detroit score. Chris Moore hits it from the 26-yard line. Good kick drives Stanley back to the 15. Walter Stanley, the league's leading punt returner. Fine return out to the 42-yard line. Pete Najarian stopped him.
Chris Moore hits a perfect punt for Walter Stanley. It's a long punt, but it was low, and it got there real fast, and the coverage didn't have a chance to get down in time. And Walter Stanley gets some good blocks from his punt return team and gets the ball down there. That's why he's leading the NFC in punt return.
Randy Cross at the Silverdome. Another look at the injury to Vinny Testaverde here.
Watch that left foot. Pete's left hip comes down right on the back of his ankle, pins it to that AstroTurf. And we can only hope that all that is really a sprain for Vinny Testaverde.
A 27-yard punt return for Walter Stanley has Detroit at their own 42-yard line and leading 17-0. Galliano sacked. The charge led by Winston Moss, number 58, from the right side linebacking spot, and up the middle, Irvin Randall. Vinny Testaverde, as you can see, is being driven off here. They're going to take a look at that left ankle, evidently. They will x-ray it right here at the Silverdome.
I made a comment earlier about Walter Stanley leading the NFC in punt returns. Walter Stanley leads the NFL in punt returns. He's having that kind of a year.
And he's talked about that being his goal the rest of the way, because in this run and shoot, he is not one of their premier pass receivers as he had been in previous years at Green Bay. Galliano eludes the first rush, gets a good block, and then slides in for a gain of about 4 yards, maybe 5. Sean Lee had him wrapped up for a big loss, and he eluded him.
Well, it's a good choice by Galliano to go down here, but you can see Tampa Bay is showing blitz, but they only bring 3 guys. Sean Lee, number 97, gets in his face. Galliano shrugs him off. Robert Goff is giving chase. Glover, 53, gets a nice block on him, and he's about to be hit, and he says, no, I've done enough work on this play.
Well, and he's done good work through the first quarter and then some. 2 touchdown passes for Galliano, a 17-0 lead. Third down, about 15. Flip to Sanders. Sanders picks up about 8 yards, but it will still leave a 4th down for Detroit. Winston Moss and Kevin Murphy combining to stop Sanders, and Mark Robinson getting into it as well. You have to have more than one man around Barry Sanders to stop him.
One thing that's been overlooked, I believe, this year is giving Detroit the credit they're due on special teams. For the last 5 years, they have ranked right at the top of the league in special teams. They take a lot of pride in it, and special teams coach Frank Gans is, without a doubt, I think, the leader in that field.
Willie Drury awaiting Arnold's punt. High arcing punt for Arnold. May stay out. It does. Down at the 4-yard line. And apparently it rolled into the end zone and will be a touchback. There's the signal. John Miller, number 44, just was unable to get possession of the ball. Evidently crossed over the plane of that goal line and be a touchback. He's arguing the point.
This is a case of enthusiasm and intensity getting in your way. What we didn't see was he had the ball about on the 3-yard line, and then he dropped it as he was trying to stop. When the ball continued, it gets there, and if the guy steps on the line, it's going to be called a touchback. The Bucks have it on the 20.
8:04 to go, second quarter. Joe Ferguson, the quarterback now for the injured Vinny Testaverde. He is 16 of 31 passing in his rare appearances so far this season. On first down, William Howard net at the line of scrimmage at maybe a half a yard. Now let's see that down punt. A great punt by Arnold and an eager young John Miller. The ball stayed out, Randy, but unfortunately for Miller, he went over that goal line.
If the ball or any part of the covering person is in the end zone, like his arm right there, the ball's on the half-yard line, John Miller's in the end zone, that's a touchback.
Looked like he was kissing the goal line there, too, and unhappy to do so.
Miller was involved in an unusual play last week against the Bears where the punter, Jim Arnold, kicked the ball into his back and was credited with a minus 10-yard punt.
2nd and 9 for Ferguson and the Bucks, and some early movement charging over Kevin Brooks was he drawn.
Ball start, 73.
Yes, that's Tom McHale, the left guard, number 73. And Green Bay has gone on top of the Bears by a field goal. Still scoreless in Cleveland.
On a cold, frozen field with those two good defenses, it's going to be low scoring.
And Houston unable to get anything going against Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh and Miami both need to win, leading their games. Second down, about 14 for the Bucks.
This is a down Detroit takes chances. Tampa could take advantage of a blitz.
Intended for Bruce Hill, incomplete. And for another NFL update, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York. Great rivalry anyway, Randy, no matter what the records of the teams are, but to have something at stake for the Pack after a long dry spell in Green Bay, that's a thriller in Soldier Field today.
Well, the roles are reversed, and I'm sure the Bears would like nothing more than to knock the Packers out of the playoffs.
Ferguson for Wilder out of the backfield, breaks one tackle and picks up about 6, but it'll be 4th down. Jimmy Williams and Jerry Holmes containing Wilder.
It's going to be very important with Ferguson at quarterback for Tampa Bay to be more effective on 1st down. Joe doesn't have the experience of playing this year yet. He's not comfortable being in there and playing. They can't afford to get him in the long yardage situation. The running game must start working and take the pressure off of the quarterback.
Moore standing at the 7-yard line and Stanley at the 35. Lions will wind up with good field position again. Fair catch signaled by Stanley at the 41-yard line. And a little pushing and shoving going on the field as we will be back with Detroit on top. At the Silverdome, where the hometown Lions, trying to get to 4 wins in a row, have a 17-0 lead. And Randy, the Buccaneers losing Vinny Testaverde, that's got to be a real difficult uphill climb for them. Ferguson has not had much play.
Exactly. They're facing a confident, tough, physical Detroit team. The key for Tampa with a backup quarterback that hasn't played much, the offensive line has got to be more effective against Detroit. They've got to be able to run the ball, or they have no chance against this tough Detroit defense. Let's
not forget that Bob Galliano himself, number 14, is a backup quarterback, but he has had more playing time than Ferguson because of the knee injury to Rodney Peete, and he has done awfully well. On 1st down, jumping in on top of him, Sean Lee. He got there before Galliano did. Now, was he drawn over?
He seemed to have started about a half a count too soon for even Kevin Glover, the center, to get a hold of him.
Offside. Defense, number 97.
Sean Lee for the injured Kurt Jarvis, second-year man from Northern Alabama.
Now, Sean Lee is right over Glover, number 53, the nose guard, kind of cocked in there sideways. Gets a little bit of anticipation, but I tell you what, did you see Glover? The ball moved a little bit right as Lee did. I think Glover was guilty of a little false snap and drew him offside.
Well, you would be an expert in that category, Cross, and I'm surprised to hear you admit they would do something like that. Take the blame for it.
Oh, it's accidental, of course.
1st and 5. Galliano for Phillips. Nice move by Phillips. 1st down, Lions. Got away from Mark Robinson to get the 1st down.
Let's take one more look at the interior on that snap. Now watch the ball. Watch Kevin Glover. He's going to bring it going. The ball's going to start. Now watch the ball go. It's going to move a little bit. The ball starts just about the same time as Lee does.
Great jump by Lee, it looked like.
Good anticipation. That's the kind of thing Keith Millard with the Vikings has been getting away with his whole career. It's not offsides when he does it.
So Kevin Glover got away with one there, in the opinion of our expert center. 1st and 10. All at the 46 now of Tampa Bay. Galliano has his man Phillips first down. Winston Moss, the linebacker, made the tackle.
Now, the thing to look for here is Galliano is going to roll to his left, the screen's right. Keep in mind, this is a right-handed quarterback going against the grain. He's pumping. Look, his body's moving the other way. Watch him whip this thing sideways into the zone. Phillips is where he's supposed to be, but that was a fine pass by Galliano.
19-yard gain. Phillips, 4 catches for 84 yards so far. Sanders, a gain of 4 on the play. Ray Perkins said they've got to stop Sanders. They plan to do that. And credit to the Lions, they have thrown the ball more as a result of the defense by Tampa Bay, and they have thrown it effectively. Galliano, 7 of 12, 97 yards.
Well, Tampa Bay has been throwing the closest thing to a base defense the Lions have seen in several weeks. They're trying to play on first down their basic 3-4.
Second down at 6. Lions moving into scoring position again. For Robert Clark, incomplete, just off the fingertips of number 82. Harry Hamilton on the coverage. And Hamilton thought he had a better shot at it than Clark, but it's incomplete.
Well, anytime you see the ball thrown in that part of the field and the quarterback leads the receiver, there's always the thought that has to go through that receiver's mind, where is that defensive back? I'm concentrating on the ball, but where is that safety? And sometimes you don't see the arms quite stretch out as far as they should. That's referred to as alligator arms.
Well, Hamilton and Robinson, both very tough hitters in the secondary of the Buccaneers. 3rd and 6. Galliano kicks to Sanders. Made the marker. First down. Moss and Donnie Elder both got a lick on him. Billy Sims is saying,
How'd he do that?
how did he do that?
He said, I used to do something like that, but I didn't do that. Now, Bob Galliano scored on this play last week against Chicago because they took the running back. This time, they choose the quarterback. He flips it to Barry Sanders. Look at the move he makes on those two guys. That one right there where he struggles and twists and turns, his center of gravity is so low, he can drive powerfully right at the end of a run.
Sanders again. Broke 2 tackles. Inside the 5. Got help from Robert Clark, little wide receiver with a nice block.
Watch the Tampa Bay defense on this replay. They're up. They're showing blitz. They bring blitz. I don't know if that was an audible, but Dallafor just gets his block on the defensive end. Robert Pigoff, number 94, and then Sanders breaks it outside and uses his strength and speed.
77 yards on 12 carries for Sanders. He needs 95 to catch Billy Sims' rookie rushing Lions record. On first down, Sanders, inside handoff, touchdown. Lions fans, I don't think quite believe Barry Sanders or this Lions team headed for a 4th consecutive win, barring quite a comeback by Tampa Bay without Testaverde. Murray with the point after. There may not be a full house here today, Randy Cross, but there are going to be a lot of full houses to watch this young man and the rest of this very exciting run-and-shoot team with a solid defense.
Here we have the eyes of Barry Sanders on that touchdown run. He goes to his right. He's thinking touchdown right here. Now watch him when he gets about the 2. He gets lower and lower and drives in. Coach Wayne Font says this guy has had an entire highlight film full of great 3- to 4-yard runs. Now, the blocking is pretty good. Lomas Brown's getting a great block on Pig Goff, 94. But Barry Sanders is not to be denied. And just as he goes down, his left arm, where the ball was, comes in contact with the goal of the plane of the goal line, and it's 6 points.
4-yard touchdown run, 81 yards on 13 carries thus far. We still have 2:54 to go in the half. 24-0, Detroit lead. Wayne Font kept telling everybody who would listen that despite an 0-5 start, his team was a team on the rise, getting better every week. They've done just that. Ray Perkins now with Joe Ferguson as his quarterback apparently the rest of the way. We'll see what happens at halftime with Testaverde. It's possible that we could see Vinny back. Murray's kickoff from the goal line this time. Flags everywhere as Wilder hit hard at the 20-yard line, getting a rise from the crowd. John Miller there to hit him. There's a close-up look at Barry Sanders, and we'll see what the flags are out on the kickoff return. Good word for Buccaneers fans. Testaverde x-rays have come back negative. No fracture of any kind, sore ankle, and might return in the second half. He will have a long, high mountain to climb. Down 24-0 at this point.
Billy use the hands. Number 24. Number 49, double.
Well, we'll just go to first down, I guess, huh? They decided it was offsetting penalties, a penalty on each on that kickoff return.
The dreaded offsetting penalty, and Pat Haggerty having some problems with his microphone.
Double foul after change of possession, first down.
That simplifies things. Double foul after change of possession, first down. Tampa Bay at their own 20. Ferguson, the quarterback, number 12. Loose ball. Lions have it. Dennis Gibson. Ferguson and Randy Grimes at center. Fumble the exchange.
Well, up to now, the Tampa Bay offense has been pretty much ineffective, if not non-existent. Now watch Grimes at center, snaps the ball to Ferguson, snaps it up a little short. The ball is right there. Ball could have fallen on it, but he couldn't see it. He's battling the center. Gibson had no trouble. He dove right on it.
I think that battle was probably the reason for the fumble. Grimes seemed to come up awfully quickly, and of course he's got a new quarterback in there. It's not Testaverde, the guy who's been snapping the ball to all season. First down. Lions. Tampa Bay 20. Galliano escaped the rush and picks up 3.
How bad has Tampa Bay's offense been this half? Take a look at that. If they're not kicking it, they're giving it away.
That has been the problem, and of course their possession start points have not been too terrific for them. Only once have they been outside their own 30-yard line. They started from the 42. Just been unable to move the football. 2nd and 8. Galliano got some good help on a crashing rush from the right side from Goff. Turned it into a 2-yard pickup. Galliano trying to get it to Sanders, incomplete. Pressure this time from the linebacker Moss from the right side, number 58.
That's an awful tough catch for a running back going in the opposite direction, reaching back for the ball.
Green Bay up by 10 now on the Bears.
Well, so much for Houston.
Holy smokes, huh? 28-0. Roderick Thomas in defensively now, number 51, along with Elder and Futrell into the secondary on 3rd down and long. Robert Clark to the 2-yard line. One of the several small free agent receivers on this Detroit Lions team making a mark for themselves. They took a lot of smirks early on, but they've been doing the job. We're at the 2-minute warning.
Robert Clark, number 82, but watch the left guard, Eric Andelsick, number 65 on this play. He comes out and lays a nice block on 22, the cornerback Rod Jones. Set up this little quick screen to the receiver. It's the guard's responsibility to get out there in front. Now watch Glover, the center gets out there too. And then it's all Clark after that. It's a nice effort by him, but you get 2 of your offensive linemen down there blocking effectively. It's hard not to make a good run.
Well executed play. Just outside the 1-yard line. 2 minutes to play first half. Lions can turn it into a rout. Barry Sanders. Good defensive pursuit, forcing him wide. When he cut it back in, Eugene Marv was waiting for him, along with number 54, Irvin Randall.
That's the way you have to tackle Barry Sanders, is the way Eugene Marv put him down. There was no jersey grabbing involved. There was no tripping involved. He put both arms around him and put his helmet right in his side and rolled him to the dirt.
2nd and goal. They have the jumbo guys, as they call them, in there. Chris Gamble, Trevor Mattis, and Jerry Ball over from the defense. You see him, number 93, up on the left end. And now they send Mattis over there to make it stronger, left side. Sanders stops again. Good effort by the Buccaneers, Winston Moss. And that ball came loose. Let's see who came up with it. Buccaneers say they have it. Huge play for the Buccaneers. They cannot afford to let another score by Detroit go into that end zone here with 1:07 still to play in the half.
This is one of those situations where the guy that had it originally might not be the guy that ends up taking it out of this pile. Everybody's fighting, they're kicking, they're scratching, they're clawing.
Well, and the officials have given it to Tampa Bay. So a goal line stand by the Buccaneers. And the fumble by Sanders. So Tampa Bay, who really desperately needed to stop Detroit, not only stops them, they get the ball.
Well, on his last touchdown, Barry got to about the 2 or 3 yard line, got low and used that power to drive in. This time, let's see if we can see where he drops it. He's being tackled, he's driving, he's stretching. He goes to stretch the ball out before he's on the ground. They knock it out of his hands.
And it looks like the linebacker Murphy may have been the guy to dive on the loose ball. But it's first down for the Buccaneers. Desperately needed goal line stand gets the ball back for them. Wayne Fonts calling for a timeout. 57 seconds remaining first half. A 24-0 Detroit lead. Ryan with Randy Cross, 57 seconds to play. Mark Cooper is the injured player down for Tampa Bay, their right guard, number 71. He's starting for the injured John Bruin, who is just back in the lineup today off injured reserve, and Carl Bax, who had been playing there ahead of Cooper until a couple of weeks back, is on the inactive list, so we may see Bruin in.
Well, with 57 seconds to go here, it's 2nd down. It's very crucial for Tampa Bay, unless they want to give up more points here in the first half. They've got to get a first down. They got to get the ball out here at least for another first down, because the way they've been kicking the ball, Detroit will get the ball back with plenty of time to score.
Let's watch that first down play by Tampa Bay.
And there's Cooper, number 71, right at the right upright. Comes out for a block on Steelman, 54, and gets his leg twisted around there. His left leg his own man, Lee, is driven back onto his left leg. And I think one time of seeing a replay like that is enough.
So Cooper joins Testaverde, leaving the game on a cart. And that'll bring John Bruin in, the second-year man from Tennessee, who had been the starter at the beginning of the season, and is just back off injured reserve. So
Ray Perkins calls Bruin a future Pro Bowler, All-Pro kind of player. He really thinks this guy can play.
Just because he hasn't been in action in recent weeks, they didn't start him today, but he's in there now by necessity. Ray Perkins got to hope that they can just get out of this here the way things stand and regroup for the second half. Lars Tate gets a couple. Tampa Bay has not been able to run the ball at all. It'll leave third down and about 7 after a pickup of 1. Well, coming up at halftime, Brent Nerve with all of the scores and highlights, and of course the playoff picture becoming a little bit more clear, but still a lot of clouds surrounding it with only one more week to go. And Dick Butkus has the story of Chicago's demise. Joe Ferguson, who used to play for this Detroit Lions team, now being asked to make things happen for their opponents today, the Buccaneers, with Vinny Testaverde down. Ferguson played the entire game in the earlier meeting this year. Testaverde was out hurt. Barry Sanders didn't play in that game as he was injured with a hip pointer. And so Ferguson being called upon to take on the Lions here again today. And there's Sanders, who fumbled the ball with his effort to try and stick it over the plane of the goal line into the end zone. Bucks took it away. Third down. Bruce Hill in motion. Sylvester Stamps. And he may have the first down. Yes, he does. Good piece of running by the little man from Jackson State. Coming over as a free agent from Atlanta this year. Out to the 12-yard line.
That was very crucial. Sylvester Stamps probably saved his team right there. At least a field goal by Detroit. Because in this type of territory, I think Detroit could have gotten down and gotten within Eddie Murray's range.
And now they've got just 11 seconds to use up. Do they chuck it here or just wind it down? Now they're going to run it. Stamps gets about 6 yards to the 21, and that will do it for the first half here at the Silverdome. An impressive one for the Lions, a dismal one for the Buccaneers. And Vinny Testaverde in the locker room with an injured ankle. Wayne Font and his Lions trying to win their 4th in a row, 5th in their last 6 games, and looking forward to the 90s as the Buccaneers are, as a couple of the very exciting looking young teams in the National Football League, including Green Bay. 3 of them are in this NFC Central Division, Randy.
Well, they used to sort of refer to them as the other 3 in the Central Division, with Minnesota and Chicago being the teams. That is not the case anymore. And a team like Tampa Bay has gone to the past. That's how they've gotten there. Detroit has gotten Barry Sanders. Green Bay has gotten down Dan Mikowski and gone to the past. They are a factor. Next year, I think it'll be probably the strongest division in pro football.
Now the Lions, Tim Ryan with Randy Cross at the Silverdome. Indoor football in Pontiac, Michigan, a 24-0 halftime lead for the Lions. Eddie Murray will kick it off. And Bobby Futrell is the deep man for Tampa Bay at the 2-yard line. No further word on Vinny Testaverde, but we, at this moment at least, do not expect him back. An ankle injury, not a fracture. Joe Ferguson took over when Testaverde was hurt. Sylvester Stamps. Flag down as Stamps, with a good effort, gets to the 25-yard line of Tampa Bay. Carl Painter, John Miller there to stop him. Pat Haggerty, the referee, will let us know what the call is. Holding against the receiving team.
Holding.
Joe Ferguson brings him on.
25 on the return. First down.
Sherman Cocroft charged with the holding penalty. Backup defensive back. Well, in that first half, you can see Testaverde and Joe Ferguson, not much of anything going for them. Galliano, consistent, 10 of 17, 2 touchdown passes, including a 55-yarder. And Sanders with 81 yards, out-rushing all of the Tampa Bay backs. He's 95, tie the Billy Sims rookie rushing mark of Detroit. Lars Tate picks up about 5.5 yards on first down for Tampa Bay. William White on the tackle. Christian Okoye, we're told, Randy, out of the game in Kansas City because of an injury to his rib cage. Sanders trying to close on him for the overall rushing lead in the NFL.
Well, it's hard to imagine anybody being able to hurt Okoye after watching him run at his size and speed.
That's right. He's had quite a season. Exciting story. Period. Lars Tate on second down gets about 1.5 yards, tripped up by Jerry Holmes.
Well, Tampa Bay is obviously coming out here in the second half. They want to get this running game established and try to take some of this pressure off of Joe Ferguson. You know, in the first half, Mark Carrier, number 88, who came into the game with 76 catches, has no catches for no yards.
They just haven't been able to move the ball in any way.
Well, the key really for the passing game is either quarterback, Vinny or Joe Ferguson, has gotten no pass protection.
So it is 3rd and a long 4 for Ferguson on his 22-yard line. Good pass to Bruce Hill, but a flag down at the line of scrimmage. Holmes made the tackle. Hill got the first down yardage.
Early indication is holding against Tampa Bay. The linemen for Detroit are getting off the ball so quick, the linemen for Tampa Bay have to hold.
Holding 69, offense, still 3rd down.
John Bruin, who's missed an awful lot of this season, gets one of his initial holding penalties of the 1989 campaign right there, working against Eric Williams.
Green Bay by 10 at the half. Minnesota finally on the board. That game 3-0 over Cleveland, and Cincinnati just walloping Houston at home. Pittsburgh on top, and Miami now trailing Indianapolis by a point. And the latest word is that Testaverde will not return to this game, nor will Mark Cooper, the starting right guard. Ferguson, and incomplete. A little too far for Bruce Hill, the intended receiver, number 84. Joe Ferguson's last complete game was 9 weeks ago against Detroit, but he was in a ball game on the 12th of November for a couple of passes against Minnesota. So he is a rusty quarterback trying to come in and rejuvenate a team that is down 24-0 at the half.
Well, that pass right there was not his fault. Bruce Hill, number 84, the ball was out there where he could have gotten it. We mentioned earlier about the alligator arms. He just was not willing to go get it.
Moore's punt, a good one. Backing up Stanley to the 34. And good coverage by the Buccaneers. Donnie Elder made the tackle. A 50-yard punt for the rookie Moore. They'll be back. Here's on the Detroit Lions, and the home team with a 24-0 lead early in the second half. Well, the Houston Oilers would like to be playing in the House of Pain at the Astrodome today, but they're not. Here we have the House of Wayne. So suddenly Wayne Fonts really getting the credit from the fans for bringing this team back from an 0-5 start. And they've fallen in love with this guy and his exciting team. Trying to win 4 games in a row, 5 of their last 6. They are in command. Galliano for Richard Johnson. The ball was there, hit him on the shoulder pad, and then when Robinson arrived, number 30, that pop knocked it loose. Now, we've mentioned we're comfortable inside, of course, but it's warming up outside, too, all the way up to 5 above.
Oh, boy. I didn't even know what wind chill was growing up in Southern California until I came to the NFL.
10 degrees below 0. Wind chill. We're in a real hurry to run out there.
To me, wind chill was when you stood in front of the freezer too long when it was open in your house.
2nd and 10. Galliano for Clark, a little wide receiver screen, and Clark gets about 6 yards out of that. Buccaneers have played that a little better than they did the last time Clark burned him on it.
That was exactly the same play like you alluded to. Tim Andrelsick and Glover got out in front of him, and it was a good job by Tampa limiting it to only 6 yards.
Billy Sims watching Barry Sanders. Sanders at this point with 81 yards rushing, needing 95 today to catch Sims, and Sims wanted to be here. He's a big fan of this young man who wears the number that Sims wore with distinction here, number 20. Needs 15 more yards to catch Billy Sims, who was one of Sanders' original idols. Galliano for Jason Phillips. First down, Lions to midfield. Butrell steered him out. Ray Perkins saying that they would go with a lot of nickel and dime. They weren't going to do anything dramatically different than other teams have against the run and shoot.
Well, the most important thing against the run and shoot, if you're going to try to do anything against it in particular, is to attack the quarterback. He's got to get pass protection. The last guy you really expect to be able to pass block real well is Barry Sanders. He says he's been working on it. He sees his man, gets a little bump on Moss there, number 58. The intent was there. The execution, I don't know about that.
Ken Dallafor came out of the game. Joe Malinchik in at right guard, number 74 for Detroit. Sanders tries the left side, and he is over the 40 into the 39-yard line, close to a first down. Harry Hamilton and Bobby Futrell made the stop, and there's Billy Sims, knowing it's just 5 more yards. He's genuinely happy for this guy. There is an injured Buccaneer down, and that is Sean Lee, the nose tackle, number 97. Bear in mind, he's in there for the injured Kurt Jarvis, who's now an injured reserve. So the Buccaneers being depleted by injuries and very depleted on the scoreboard. Feet at the sidelines and apparently all right, looking eager to get back in. John Cannon took over on the nose. Billy Sims, knowing that 7 more yards will do it for Barry Sanders, set a new Detroit Lions rookie rushing record. Second and a yard required for the Lions. Wide open again, Jason Phillips, loose ball. Did the Bucs get possession inbounds or not? You can see the discussion at the sideline. Didn't appear that Tampa Bay had a hold of that ball.
Unrecovered fumble, still Detroit's ball.
So the Lions retained possession because the Buccaneers did not come up with possession of that ball after it was knocked loose from Phillips.
Well, as good a day as these wide receivers for Detroit are having, one of the disadvantages of having little guys is when they're open and they get these passes, can they take the shot? Watch Futrell, just reaches in there, 36, and strips the ball away. Now it's a race of which one gets there first. Oh, it was a nice effort by Murphy, 59.
Well, on the next play, Phillips makes another fine catch and is hit immediately and holds on. Harry Hamilton and Rod Jones put a good pop on him. Jason Phillips out of the University of Houston, 5'7", 168-pounder. But like these other small receivers of Detroit, has gotten better with every game. A bunch of free agents, a bunch of guys under 6 feet with the exception of the rookie John Ford, who got into the lineup off injured reserve last week. And Jason Phillips now with 7 catches, his best effort so far. They've all been doing well. Sanders, good pursuit, holding him to about a 3, maybe a 4-yard pickup. Robert Goff on the tackle, number 94. And Green Bay widening its lead over the Bears. Minnesota just a field goal up. Cincinnati 31-0 over Houston at the half. Roderick Thomas now into the game defensively as Barry Sanders has to have his sticky stuff repaired there, I think.
It's hard to think a strap could come loose with all that carpet tape smeared all over it.
A 4-yard pickup, 2nd and 6 Lions. Tony Page replaces him on this play. And that one was open for Phillips, but Galliano missed his mark.
And Bob Galliano knows that he had a man wide open and he overthrew him, led him a little bit too much. You know, one thing I think the fans here in Detroit and around the league have to take into consideration, earlier in the year, Wayne said, I've got a good defensive system. I've got a good offensive system. The problem is I don't have the players to make them really work effectively. I'm not complaining. I'll make it work with the guys I've got. But if I can get real top-notch quality players in here, we'll be a team to contend with.
Well, and that's one of them there, Rodney Peete, on the sideline with a knee injury today. And Galliano continuing to do the job. 14 of 23, 173 yards at this point. And he is sacked this time. Mark Robinson, safety blitzing, along with the linebacker, Winston Moss, number 58. Second sack of the day for Tampa Bay. They put a pretty good lick on Galliano, and it's favoring his left arm as he comes off.
Well, it's about the fourth time today they've gotten up and Tampa showed that blitz. A couple times they've been burned on runs, but that time Robinson showed the blitz, looked like he was going to fake and not come, and then came, and there's nothing Glover could do to get a block on him. He was all over Galliano.
Well, it's his left arm that's bothering him. He is hurt. So the field goal try from 43 yards away from Murray. And it's good. Second field goal of the day for Eddie Murray, and a 27-0 lead. The Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, the Detroit Lions widen their lead on the second field goal of the day by Eddie Murray, a 43-yarder. He is now 17 of 18 on the season, and he'll kick it off for Detroit, leading comfortably, to say the least, 27-0. 9:09 to go, third quarter. Kickoff out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Murray not happy with that. Bob Galliano, who hurt his left elbow on that sack his last play on the field, apparently all right. Talking with Rodney Peete. And with Richard Johnson, wide receiver number 84. Another one of the good stories, like Galliano, a guy just coming literally out of nowhere, was a computer programmer when he got the call to come and help. Again, Mouse Davis, knowing him from USFL days. On first down, Ferguson with lots of time for Carrier. He's got it. All the way to the 24-yard line of Detroit. The first long bomb of the day by the Buccaneers, and Ferguson connects with Carrier, his first catch of the day. 41 yards.
The key here for Joe Ferguson is he's going to get great protection from his offensive line. No one really gets near him. He's able to step up and follow Carrier the entire way. And as the ball was placed right over his receiver's shoulder, did a good job on Terry Taylor to get open. Here's another look at the protection. Ball on the nose is being double teamed. Eric Williams is being handled effectively by Taylor, the right tackle for the Bucs.
First down, Tampa Bay. Deepest they've been in the game. A reverse for Peebles, and flags everywhere, and play whistle dead. Lions had reacted pretty well to that. Gibson and Holmes waiting for Peebles on the far side.
Delay of game, offense.
But the Buccaneers too slow to get the play off.
You hate to have that happen to you. You always save reverses and halfback passes and things like that for anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks, so the team you're playing hasn't seen it, and to waste it on a penalty's got to really hurt.
So an unhappy Ray Perkins saying, you know, nothing is going right for us here. Testaverde out of the game. The starting guard Cooper is down. Sean Lee was out for play, got back in defensively. We're down 27-0. Ferguson, and it is incomplete. Intended for Peebles. The ball hung up a little bit, enabling the Detroit defenders to break it up. For an NFL update, well, let's not go right now. We'll take. So a penalty on the play against Tampa Bay here. And the ball pushed back to the 41-yard line.
Well, it was on James Wilder, and Wilder got ran over by Michael Kofor, number 55. And it's one of those cases where the guy's coming right at you, you lose your balance, you fall straight over backwards, and to the referee or the linesman on the other side, they figure you've got to be holding.
Ferguson gets protection, goes to the release man, Howard. And Howard batters his way down near the 20-yard line. Well short of the first down, but back over the original line of scrimmage. It'll leave about 6 or 7 yards to go on second down. 19-yard gain for Howard. Jimmy Williams, the linebacker, number 59, made the stop. Williams having an outstanding season. The guy was unhappy a year ago. Actually thought about not coming back with the Lions, trying to get out of Detroit. Wayne Fonts talked him into returning, and he has played one of his best seasons ever in the NFL, now in his 8th year. Tate will lose a yard on the play. Jerry Ball.
We had Ball and Kofor and Dennis Gibson, and that whole side of the line got a shot on him on that one. But Jerry Ball not only can control the line of scrimmage in the middle, but watch him run, number 93. He's going laterally. Remember, that's a running back he's chasing. He's making ground as the guy comes to the line of scrimmage.
You saw Jerry Ball moments ago looking up at the replay screen, which the players do here, and wherever there's a large screen replay, there's a look at it. I want to look up and see just how good they were. 3rd down and 8. Ferguson just gets it away, and it's going to be picked off. Terry Taylor. Ferguson, it appeared, was hit just as he delivered the ball by an on-rushing Detroit lineman. Might have been Kevin Brooks. And Taylor had a wounded duck coming right into his lap.
Well, Ferguson means to zip this, but watch about the last 20% of his release right at the end as Brooks hits him. Right here, he distracts his throwing motion by grabbing his left shoulder. He can't follow through, and the thing wobbles in the air, and Taylor's got an easy time of picking that one off.
Andy Peebles, the intended receiver, but bad luck for Joe Ferguson, and the Lions have the ball at their 2. First down, nearly intercepted by Hamilton. Intended for Walter Stanley.
This is an opportunity for Tampa Bay to take a negative and make it into a positive. With Detroit pinned back here like this, they can't let them get out past the 10-yard line and get a first down. They can set themselves up in their offense with great field position if they can hold Detroit down here.
Lions have picked off 2 today, one from Vinny Testaverde. Jerry Holmes did that back in the first period, setting up their 2nd touchdown. Now Terry Taylor intercepting Joe Ferguson. Bob Galliano just escaping an interception there in the hands of Harry Hamilton. Sanders, and that'll do it for Barry Sanders. Has just broken the rookie rushing mark held by Billy Sims. There's Wayne Fonts for Billy on the sideline. Class guy, and there's another one. First down play by Sanders, overlooked with the rushing record broken.
Got him backed up. The Bucs defense it well. They could have had Lee could have had him in the backfield, but Barry Sanders bounces it outside for his yards gain.
104 yards. So the Buccaneers did not hold them to 1 to 100. Jason Phillips. Good tackle by Jones on Phillips, a gain of 6, maybe 7 on the play. Billy Sims enjoying this moment.
Now watch how many times he moves around. He gets the ball. He darts to his right. He darts again. He goes left. He's got those feet and those legs turning the entire time. Tampa Bay, once again, did not defend that poorly. They are just not containing his speed on the outside.
Meanwhile, Jason Phillips with 8 catches, 116 yards. 2nd and 4 for the Lions. They're on 18. Sanders again, and he is tripped up behind the line by not by Sean Lee, yes, it was Lee who tripped him up. And then the linebackers finished him off, so good defensive work by the Bucs on that play on Sanders. It'll be 3rd down and about 5. 1-yard loss. Well, the Buccaneers were not applauding the record-breaking effort by Sanders, and a lot of photographers and local camera crews went out onto the field with Billy Sims. I'm not sure that was appreciated by the Buccaneers and Ray Perkins, but the play was held up while Sims congratulated Barry Sanders. 3rd and 6. This has been working all day long. Jason Phillips to the 30-yard line. Richard Johnson, pardon me, the receiver this time. Same play, different guy.
What they're doing is they're bringing that slot receiver in motion. You saw Johnson go. They cross the other guys and drag him across, and there's no one picking up the guy that's been in motion, and this time it was Johnson. The last 4 or 5 times that play has worked, it's been Phillips. But the responsibility, the guy that comes in motion with that wide receiver has got to stay with him. He cannot drop off and assume a linebacker can pick him up.
Ricky Reynolds was the man who finally got him. Roderick Thomas in as a pass rusher, and some early motion. 3 flags were thrown. Cannon jumped across number 78.
Encroachment. Defense, number 78.
Cannon, the guilty party. Green Bay now 27-21 as the Bears come back a little. In Cleveland, ahead of Minnesota 7-3. Cincinnati looks like they've got that one locked up over Houston. Embarrassing day for the Oilers.
Indianapolis making for a bad day so far for Don Shula. They're ahead of them 21-13.
5 Lions at their own 35. Intended for Richard Johnson, a little underthrown by Galliano. For an NFL update, let's go to Brent Musburger in tropical day there, doesn't it? 2nd down and 5. Not that it's any different outside here, but we're comfortable inside.
Well, Bob Galliano obviously disappointed with himself for missing Phillips in that last play, but he would never have gotten a chance to get that off if Kevin Glover hadn't picked up a safety blitz as effectively as he did.
2nd and 5 for the Lions. Galliano hangs up a wobbler. Jump ball for it, and it is intercepted by the Bucs. Donnie Elder. Galliano would love to have that one back. That'll be on the low light reel for the Lions.
Jim Arnold, their punter, hasn't gotten that good a hang time on his punt, much less a pass.
Well, Galliano's done a fine job today, but that one not one of his best.
Watch this. It's tipped. It goes. Finally, they get their hands on the ball. Donnie Elder getting the interception.
Timmy Testaverde in the black sweater there in the background, now out on the Tampa Bay sideline with an injured ankle. And just watching Joe Ferguson try to salvage something here. For Vinny, it may be just as well that he's out of this one, the way it's been going for the Buccaneers. 1st down at their 27-yard line. Ferguson on target to the tight end Hall. An immediate hit on him from Terry Taylor. A 7-yard pickup for Tampa Bay.
That's the kind of play defensive backs love to get. They get a receiver who's looking back at the quarterback, concentrating on the ball, and Terry Taylor right there got a chance to unload on Hall. And it's against a guy that's a lot bigger than him, too.
Big guy indeed, Hall, 240-pounder. I gave him a 7. It's actually 5. It'll be 2nd and 5 for the Buccaneers. 2:46 to go in the third quarter. They've only been into the Lions' territory once in this game. Dropped by Danny Peebles. Not a great pass from Ferguson, but it was catchable. It'll be 3rd down. The Lions in the first half had 250 yards of total offense, and that was more than Detroit had in 9 entire games last season. The run and shoot in the last several weeks has really shown what it's designed to do, and that's feature the running of a great back like Barry Sanders, but pile up passing yardage as well. And today we've seen it run beautifully by Bob Galliano and his receivers. Ferguson is batted down by Jimmy Williams. Number 59 was blocked by Bruin, but got a hand up, swatted the ball away, and Tampa Bay will have to punt.
You don't have to get into a quarterback's body or pull him to the ground to make an effective pass rush. Watch Williams, 59, coming from the left side. Good block by Wilder, 32 there, but he jumps up and completely blocks not only the ball, but Joe Ferguson's field of vision.
Chris Moore been an active punter today, and he gets a dandy away, driving Stanley back about 15 yards to the 18. Seven-yard punt brought back 32 by the league's best punt returner, Walter Stanley, all the way to the 50.
Well, how many times do you hear it? When a punter nails a long punt, it gives the returner a chance to go. Watch this jump coming up here. He just hurdles right there and just keeps on going. Nice run. You see Nico Noga, 51, trying to block for him. Stanley just kind of pushes him out of the way and says, I'm going for the goal line. Get out of my way.
That was Sam Ono, a usually reliable tackler, that he hurdled back there. And a happy Walter Stanley set that punt return title as his target, and he's on target. Christmas Day here on CBS. Our winter sports special will feature the World Junior Figure Skating Championship, the World Cup skiing activities as well. On first down from midfield, Galliano out to Jason Phillips. Phillips gets about 5. Roderick Thomas hauls him down there. Now, following the winter sports special at 3:30 on Christmas Day, and following our winter sports special.
Yeah, we talked about Walter Stanley leading the NFL in punt returns. Normally, you'd assume a guy like that's going to go to the Pro Bowl. With the competition at wide receiver this year, there's a chance he may not get to go. They'll put another wide receiver who's played a lot in that slot.
Second and 5. Jason Phillips driven back. Dropped back near the 50-yard line. Took a hit and thought he could escape and turn upfield. He was wrong. Bobby Futrell with a pop on him.
This is the same play we've seen work half a dozen times. They drag the slot guy across. Look, his gyro's a little messed up. Which way do I go? Am I going to this goal line or am I going to that goal line? That's where balance can be a negative. A normal person get hit like that, they would have fallen down and only lost 5 yards.
Well, it's also your point earlier about there is still a disadvantage to being a smaller, not as strong wide receiver. These guys have proven that they can make this run and shoot work. So it's 3rd down and 10 back at the original line of scrimmage. Out to Ford, one of the bigger receivers, and good defensive reaction by Jones. Stopping him in the open field, a little if any gain. So the Lions will have to punt.
Well, they tried to make that quick screen work to the wide receiver, got the lineman out in front, but Ford wasn't able to execute it.
Jim Arnold will let this quarter wind up here at the Silver Dome. And at the end of 3, the score, the hometown Detroit Lions 27, the Buccaneers nothing. We pause for a word from your local station. Very much in command here. 20 first downs to only 4 by Tampa Bay. Buccaneers stopped them on this series, and Arnold is punting. To open the 4th period, another high arching beauty from Arnold, but deep and through the end zone. Will be a touchback. Joe Ferguson and the Bucs will start from the 20. Well, next Sunday, doubleheader action will feature the NFL Today at 12:30 Eastern, and then you'll see one of these games. Detroit at Atlanta. Green Bay will be at Dallas, the Rams at New England, and Phoenix at Philadelphia. And, of course, many of those still with playoff implications. And the Chicago Bears will be at San Francisco. In our doubleheader game, the Bears are out, the 49ers are in. But that is a rivalry that won't go away. Would you agree, Mr. Cross?
Without a doubt. I don't care what the situation is. The 49ers and the Bears love to take each other's heads off.
So first down, play action, and a sack by Jimmy Williams. Ferguson just trying to get his arm up as Williams went right by William Howard. 4th sack of the day. Howard, the blocker, number 43 in the backfield. 4 sacks for the Lions.
We see Williams coming off the right corner of the screen, standing up there, number 59. Now Howard, number 43, is going to try to block him. Doesn't even come close, barely gets a hand on him, much less block him. And Ferguson is completely open for him to sack him.
Loss of 5, 2nd and 15.
I'd like to say that was a great move, but I think Howard just missed it.
Joe Ferguson at 40 might be having second thoughts about another year. Sylvester Stamps got a couple, but a flag down, and holding is the signal against Tampa Bay. In the what more can go wrong category.
Holding, number 73, offense.
Well, coming into the game, we mentioned that to the Detroit Lions, this is their conference championship game, and then next week is their Super Bowl. They're playing like it. Tampa Bay is playing like this is their 16th game of the year. The cars in the parking lot are loaded. They're pointed in all directions towards the house, and they're ready to go home.
A long drive from Detroit, too, to where most of them are going. Tom McHale is charged with a holding, number 73. Harry Swain is in at the right tackle for Rob Taylor. Swain getting more time there as Ray Perkins thinks he has a very bright future as a defensive lineman. Converted. Ferguson, and good catch. Close to first down yardage for Mark Carrier. They were second and long, of course. It'll bring them back to about 10 yards to go on 3rd down. Well, the East Division in the AFC, the key situation here, Miami trailing Indianapolis 28-13 at this point in that game. Buffalo, a struggling team in recent weeks.
And when you're struggling, you don't want to be following or going up against the hottest team in the league. And Buffalo has the 49ers this afternoon out in San Francisco.
Well, and if the Bills win that game and Miami loses to Indianapolis, which it looks like they will, Buffalo could clinch. Ferguson connecting close to a first down to Carrier again. But it'll be 4th down, about a yard short, so they will have to punt. Moore comes in. But Mark Carrier starting to find a little room to catch the ball, but it's not enough for the first down.
Well, at this point, the Detroit Lion defense is laying off to completely prevent a long play. They're going to give them like 10 yards when it's 2nd and 20, 3rd and 10.
Mel Gray getting a chance to return one now for the Detroit Lions, waiting for it at the 30-yard line, and a good punt by the rookie Moore. And Mel Gray with a good return to the 34-yard line where Ron Hall stopped him. We'll be back at the Silverdome with flags on the field in a moment. They may just decline that one.
Well, if it had to have been fair caught as far back as it was, you'd think they'd
Mills will man downfield. Declined. First down.
But with that good return, you don't want to nullify that return.
It's at the 34-yard line of Detroit, and that's where Bob Galliano and company will begin when we return to the Silverdome. Back at the Silverdome in Pontiac, the Lions in command of this game. 20 first downs to only 4 by Tampa Bay. Testaverde went out in the first half with an ankle injury. Barry Sanders has surpassed the rookie rushing mark of Billy Sims, and Sims was here today to watch it. Tim Ryan and Randy Cross here at the Silverdome, and you have to be impressed with this Detroit Lions team coming back from an 0-5 start. They look like next year they're going to be trouble for everybody.
I think exactly, and we're going to keep seeing some good offense from them. If they were a playoff-type team, you'd say, oh, they'll just run the ball and run out the clock. They've only got 2 games left. They're going to take advantage of all the time they got. They'll keep that offense wide open and score more points.
And again, bear in mind, they've got their backup quarterback running it, and running it effectively. Number 14, Bob Galliano. Handoff to Sanders, a well played by the Buccaneers. Robinson, the safety, who told us yesterday that he'd be playing up in that kind of almost linebacker position like the Chicago Bears started a few years ago, and because of the Sanders threat on every play, the Buccaneers looking to make plays like that. Unfortunately, they haven't been able to hold them anywhere near under the 100-day plan. Second down and 9. Galliano is sacked, and it is Mark Robinson playing up tight again and just came on the blitz. Fought his way through a block and got himself a sack. Third Buccaneers sack of the day.
Well, they just had too many rushers to handle the pass blockers. They had to be able to dump it quick, and they couldn't do it.
Let's go back and look at the thrills of Barry Sanders here with Billy Sims looking on from deep in their own end. He makes a good first down run and breaks that Lions rookie rushing record.
Murphy loses contain. He gets the outside, and when the linebacker doesn't get contained, the running back's going to run wild like that.
Live here with Galliano in trouble again. Throws it upfield out of bounds. Intended for Sanders, and he was all the way back near his 5-yard line when he released the ball, being pursued by Reuben Davis. Billy Sims genuinely saying yesterday how thrilled he was to watch this guy and see him get a chance to break the record, and here's his reaction when Barry Sanders went over the mark.
People talk about how important records are, especially to professional athletes. But with a class gentleman like Billy Sims, he's got to be the first one to go out there and congratulate Barry Sanders, gets the handoff there from the official, and congratulates the new record holder.
Willie Drury back for the punt from the 30-yard line. Scrambles close to the 40 of Tampa Bay. So with 10:44 remaining in regulation time, we'll be back after this timeout and another look at the great Wayne Fonts may wind up at least with some of the duties of GM. On first down, Ferguson going for it all, but overthrows everybody. Carrier, the intended receiver. And for another NFL update, let's go to Brent in New York. Wire Brent in a big game for both teams. We'll keep track of that for you throughout the day here. In the NFL on CBS. Second and 10. Ferguson, deep sideline, and that is complete to Bruce Hill. Was he inbounds? Yes. Well, let's see. No, didn't hang on to the ball. Right at the sideline trying to stay inbounds. So it'll be 3rd and 10. Now stay with us today, as we indicated. We'll not only keep track of that Minnesota-Cleveland game for you, but after the game on the NFL Today post-game show. 3rd and 10. Ferguson, and incomplete. And who's diving back trying for the intercept? Nose tackle, 300-pound plus Jerry Ball. Wouldn't that have been something if he had picked that up, Randy? They would have blown a hole in the Silverdome roof.
That's right. Look at him right there. I should have had it. It was right there. If I wouldn't have had these dumb gloves on, I'd have had it. The fans love it.
He's a great player and a fun guy. Loves to play this game. I have never seen anybody his size who can move like he does. Moore, another fine punt. Mel Gray. Flags down as Gray got to the 23-yard line. Sam Ano made the tackle, but flags everywhere. Likely a blocking violation against Detroit.
Appeared to be a little push in the back on that return. Either that or a little illegal use of hands.
Chuck Long warming up on the sidelines and probably will.
Number 49 pushing it back on the return.
That's Tony Page charged with the push in the back. And we'll be back at the Silverdome. 10:08 to play regulation time. 27-0 Lions. In the zip lead, we mentioned that Wayne Fonts could wind up with some of the GM responsibilities. He said that he doesn't want to be GM. He wouldn't turn it down if William Clay Ford insisted or offered it to him. He said, how could I say no? But he really has more specific things in mind.
Well, he'd like control of the football operations. If it has to do with the draft, it got to do with trade. He doesn't want to do contracts. He doesn't want to maintain the Silverdome. He wants to control football operations for the Detroit Lions.
Bobby Beathard has taken himself out of the talk, and apparently that's all it was about coming here. He says he's going to live on the West Coast. Sanders on first down gets to the 10-yard line. So Jerry Venisi and Chuck Schmidt, who are already in the organization, are still contenders for the GM spot. And the other name mentioned earlier was Dick Steinberg out of New England. Well, Cleveland leading Minnesota 14-10. Vikings could win the division if they can beat Cleveland. Whoa, but Green Bay would have to lose at Chicago today, and that's not happening. Look at that.
2-0.
Sanders gets a rest.
52-0 Cincinnati over Houston. A game like this, as crucial as it was to the Oilers, could not only crush them for the rest of this year, but could scar them permanently.
2nd and 9. Page. Tony Page gets about 3 yards. John Cannon stops him. The ball came loose, but after play was whistled dead. Page has carried only 26 times on the season. Sanders carried nearly that many times every game. 21 today for 104 yards.
It would appear they're going to give Barry Sanders, if not a rest for a few plays, for the rest of this game, seeing he got that rookie rushing record away from Billy Sims.
Sanders needed 229 to break the all-time season mark of Sims, 1,437. Got one more game and could catch him next week. Still very much in the rushing race in the NFL this year. On third down, a little high for Richard Johnson, who's a little low at 5'6", so...
That is the same play.
Down.
We keep saying it. It's about the 10th time. They run 2 wide receivers up the field, drag the motion guy who's coming out of the slot from the other side right behind the other defensive back, and he's been wide open every single time.
Willie Drury waiting for the punt, standing at the Tampa Bay 45. Arnold in the end zone to punt. Arnold as the emergency quarterback today on Wayne Font's plans. Had Galliano and Chuck Long both been hurt. Would have been Arnold in there. Another good kick by Arnold. Drury turns it upfield and dancing down the sidelines. He'll mark it at midfield. Keith Karpinski finally able to push him out, but a good return for Willie Drury. 53-yard punt, 17-yard return. Christian Okoye did get back into the game in Kansas City, Randy.
Barry Sanders, 1,312 yards. His goal and the offensive lineman's goal here in Detroit is to get Barry Sanders 1,500 yards. I think if they can get him 180 yards plus next week down in Atlanta, not only will he get that goal, I think he'll lead the NFL in rushing. He'll break Billy Sims' team record, and he'll put them in a situation looking forward to 1990 that can be unbelievable for this franchise.
So first down Tampa Bay at the 50-yard line. Ferguson continuing for the injured Vinny Testaverde. Intended for Carrier, broken up by Holmes. Nearly picked off. And he blades there with him. And for another update, let's go to Brent in New York. involved in all season long, and here they are right near the end of the year against a team out of it, still playing in that kind of a contest. 2nd and 10. There's Vinny Testaverde. Ankle injury back in the first half. If you joined us along the way, apparently not serious, no fracture, but enough of pain and soreness to take him out of the lineup. Ferguson, and intercepted. Jimmy Williams, the linebacker, tracking Willie Drury all the way. 3rd interception by the Lions today. Holmes and Taylor have the others.
Jimmy Williams is out in the right-hand slot, and he tracks Drury the entire way. When Ferguson tries to get the ball to him, he should have never thrown this pass. Williams is there all the time.
Well, the fans are speaking again. Those bougie here are greeting Chuck Long coming onto the field. He's getting some playing time and getting encouragement from his teammates. The fans here did not greet him kindly, and that's primarily because back on Thanksgiving Day, he was scheduled to start against Cleveland. He said to Coach Wayne Fonse he wanted to have a whole game. He didn't want to be yanked because he hasn't played in the system enough. So Fonse went with Galliano that day. Lions won it. Fans didn't forget. Tony Page picks up 4. First down to the 29.
From Long's standpoint, he's always been a drop-back passer. At Iowa, he was a drop-back passer. He said when Mouse Davis and the run and shoot came in here, I kind of wondered, where do I fit in? I had to completely change all my mechanics. I had to learn a new way to drop back from the center, a new way to throw the ball on the run. He said he hadn't thrown the ball on the run since he was in high school.
Well, I think the consensus seems to be that Long will wind up somewhere else next year, and I don't think that Chuck himself would be too unhappy about that. Although the Lions say they're not intending to trade him, but their Rodney Peete and Bob Galliano seem so well suited to this style of quarterback. Long connects on his first pass. Jason Phillips. Got only a couple of yards, however, as Futrell and Ricky Reynolds were there to meet him.
Well, Chuck Long can throw the ball as a quality NFL passer. There's no doubt about that. He can stand back in a pocket and he can chuck that ball. What he needs to do is probably go somewhere else. And he's one of the few players Detroit has that has any real value of trade material.
Billy Sims and Barry Sanders, a pair of 20s, only one of them still in uniform, but what a lot of thrills they provided football fans, especially here in Detroit. You have the feeling that Sanders will be doing it for a long time to come.
Well, there's a lot of tradition in Detroit with that number 20. Lem Barney wore it, then Billy Sims, and now Barry Sanders.
Measurement, and apparently Phillips got enough for the first down. So the Lions keep the football going here with another first down at the 35-yard line. 6:55 remaining in regulation time. Jason Phillips, 11 catches today, 121 yards. A rookie from the University of Houston who played there with Andre Ware. Understands the run and shoot. Richard Johnson in motion. Chuck Long for Ford. Great catch. Well, you got to feel good for Chuck Long and for the rookie John Ford, who tipped and bobbled and held on for a 37-yard gain over Jones.
And now they're cheering here in the Silver Dome. But watch the concentration on the part of Ford. Rod Jones, number 22, does a good job. Looks like he's going to break it up, but Ford never takes his eyes off the ball, catches it 3 or 4 different times and losing it every time, but then finally holds on to it for a great catch.
And the Lions down in Tampa Bay territory again inside the 30. Tony Page gets close to 5. Here's a fine team player, Tony Page, completely in the shadow of Barry Sanders. And prior to Sanders' arrival, had been primarily a blocking back for the other running backs here. A special teams guy and great attitude player. Very respected by his teammates and his coaching staff. 5:16 to go here in the fourth, and the Lions threatening again. Tampa Bay has not been shut out since September of 1983. Well, that's the last, I'm sorry, the last shutout by the Lions. Tampa Bay's last shutout was in December of 1985. Long slides in with first down yardage to the 18. Green Bay clinging to that 2-point lead. Minnesota, if they beat Cleveland, could only have won with a Green Bay loss at, well, if Minnesota can win the division today with a win over Cleveland, or a Green Bay loss at Chicago, but Green Bay leading the Bears. Pittsburgh hanging in. Indianapolis hurting Miami's chances, 42-13. First down, Lions inside the 20 of Tampa Bay. Page met by 3 Bucks on the corner. Winston Moss, number 58, first man there.
Tony Page is not quite the speed threat on the outside that Barry Sanders is on that option play. Donald Igwe
hasn't had a chance to do anything today.
He's that towel's been around his neck for an awful lot. You know, Tony Page, we were talking to him yesterday in the locker room. Great, good-natured guy, as you're saying. He's been a great team player. Took a lot of ribbing yesterday. You know, Saturday practices aren't real hard. Tony Page walks in the locker room, takes off his practice stuff, pulls on his clothes, and all of a sudden the chants from around the locker room started. Shower pill, shower pill. Tony, get in the shower, wash off that body.
2nd and 9. Chuck Long going deep to the corner, intended for Robert Clark. Tight coverage by Rod Jones, incomplete. Yeah, the Lions are loose and having fun, having won 3 games in a row. They gave their what they call their Wanker Award to the complainers of the season, and it was jointly presented to Lomas Brown. There he is, and Ken Dallafor, a couple of offensive linemen, for being the best complainers over the course of the season about any topic. They could complain about anything. Folks were keeping score.
We shouldn't make too much light of that. That's taken very seriously among the Detroit Lions.
3rd and 9. Long trying to get it to Ford. Little miscommunication there between Chuck Long and rookie John Ford.
They threw that ball right through the arms of Randy Rustin, number 77 of the Tampa Bay Bucks, and I think Ford half expected it to be knocked down.
So that brings up a 4th down situation for Eddie Murray. And some applause now for Chuck Long. Nice to hear. The fans did not greet him kindly when he took the field. Murray will have the ball set up for him at the 25-yard line. He's got 2 today already, one from 33 and one from 43. And now one from 35. He's missed only 1 time all season long, and a streak of 18 in a row. He's trying for the mark of Mark Mosley at the time, and missed 1. And that record eventually went to Kevin Butler, and you see Murray applauding all of the blockers who kept out the enemy troops. But following our football, Ray Perkins cannot be happy with this game today, even though he knows he lost his young quarterback Vinny Testaverde early. When Vinny was in, they weren't doing anything.
Well, this is a game I think Ray Perkins came into thinking we've got a legitimate chance to win this. We're playing against another young, aggressive, up-and-coming team, and what probably disappoints him the most is the way his team has sort of folded in at times and given up to these Detroit Lions. That's the one thing Ray Perkins will not tolerate.
Murray's kickoff comes down at the 16. Donnie Elder has it there. To the 26, and flags fly again. Well, the teams came in at 5 and 9 with 3rd place in this NFC Central somewhat at stake, and with the Bears losing to Green Bay last report, Detroit now does have a real shot at 3rd
Number
place.
86 on the return, first down.
But Tim, what really struck me in speaking to these 2 teams was the difference in the 5 and 9 attitude. Ray Perkins in Tampa Bay had the attitude of gee, we'd like to win these 2 games. We're doing okay. We're at 5-9. Chicago loses. We can get in a tie or get up above them, finish in 3rd place. It works out better for them next year when it comes time to come scheduling. But when you get to a team like Detroit, like I said, this is their conference championship game. Next week is the Super Bowl to them. They are so upbeat. They're talking about hurting and beating as many people as they can these next 2 weeks, and they can't wait until 1990. I don't think the same thing could be said for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Detroit finishes their season at Atlanta next week on Christmas Eve. I wouldn't want to be the Falcons to finish up against this team next week. James Wilder, close to first down yardage by the great veteran James Wilder. There's a guy with absolutely no quit in him. Jerry Holmes and Penny Blades will stop on him. Bob Galliano, another fine game today for the backup quarterback. Well, a coordinating producer of the NFL on CBS is Charles H. Milton III. And today's game was produced by Bob Monsbach and directed by Kathy Barreto. And well, that might be Bob and Kathy there. They've left the trucks and are out there with their Lions outfits on here, getting ready for the holiday season upcoming. Interception. Ray Crockett, the rookie from Baylor, picks off Ferguson. And the Lions with 2:32 still to play are once more deep in Tampa Bay territory at the 30. There's that youthful enthusiasm on the part of this team. Crockett enjoying the intercept.
And Ferguson lets this thing go, but it's not his fault. I mean, he throws that ball. It's being delivered just fine, but the receiver never turned around, and Crockett was right there to take advantage of it.
First pickoff of the season for the rookie. Chuck Long continues at quarterback. Intended for Robert Clark, broken up by Ricky Reynolds, number 29. Wayne Fonts rushing over to talk to Mouse Davis, and one I think can safely speculate. In fact, there he could read his lips, run the ball. So Fonts did not want Mouse Davis, the offensive coordinator, to keep throwing the ball. He has the game in hand, 2:27 to go. It is not his style to rub it in. Now, from Mouse Davis's point of view, Randy, I'm sure he's saying, hey, Chuck Long's getting a chance to play. He wants to get to throw the ball, and probably was thinking along those lines, but Wayne Fonts put a stop to it.
That's exactly right. There's nothing malicious involved in that. They enjoy watching their own offense work.
This is Carl Painter, pardon me, getting a chance to run the ball. Carl Painter, number 26, and picks up about 8, maybe 9 yards on the play. That'll bring us to the 2-minute warning in 10 seconds time, and a chance to thank our spotter Terry Kane and our statistician Dick Bossing have been with us all season long for another outstanding season. We thank you for your help, gentlemen. We'll be back. And it'll be Painter again, and he has the first down inside the 15. And Painter coming into the game and had only 3 carries on the season. Mainly a special teams player. Robinson and Reynolds stopped him there. Randy, the Lions apparently headed to their 4th consecutive victory, something they haven't accomplished since 1980. And if they can win that final game in Atlanta, it would be 1970 since they won 5 in a row.
That's an amazing record for Wayne Fonts. It's a good way to end this season for these Detroit Lions.
Atlanta is struggling team at 3-11, so they're certainly vulnerable. And there's Wayne saying, I think we got it.
Well, assuming Tampa Bay does not get the ball back, they have the fewest first downs today, 5 in the history of their team, tying a record.
And the Buccaneers did take a timeout. Chuck Long over to talk to Wayne Fonts. And of course, with all of these playoff possibilities still alive today, and some developments this afternoon that have changed the picture slightly, some which didn't change anything at all, and some unbelievable scores like Cincinnati's big 52-0 lead the last we saw over Houston. You're going to get caught up to date on all of it on the NFL Today post-game show. Brendan Irv will have scores and highlights and bring you up to date on that confused playoff picture, but it's fun going down to the final week. We'll also talk live with New York Giants head coach Bill Parcells. Well, Green Bay on top of the Bears, 37-28. Keep their playoff hopes alive. There's that unbelievable Cincinnati score at home. Pittsburgh still alive, beating New England. Indianapolis hurting the Dolphins' chances, 42-13. San Diego on top of Kansas City. The Chiefs still had a playoff hope. Murray will attempt a field goal here, which will give him 4 on the day. They'll spot it at the 26-yard line with the clock ticking down. And it's good. The 36-yard field goal by Eddie Murray. 4 field goals on the day, 33-0. Detroit over Tampa Bay. Now, do you suppose, Randy, speculate here, did that timeout bother the Lions?
I think when Perkins called that timeout for Tampa Bay to stop the clock when they were obviously trying to run out the clock, that was just sort of a don't do that from Wayne Fonts when he ran his field goal team on there and kicked that last field goal. Because there was really no reason to kick that field goal other than try to make a point.
All right, and Fonts had been generous and classy in telling his team to run the ball and then just using up the clock with the quarterback kneeling down. So a little competitive edge restored to the Lions after the Buccaneers took the timeout. Detroit kicks the field goal. So clock stopped at 20 seconds still to play.
There's Barry Sanders, number 20, speaking with Bill Keenest, public relations man for the Detroit Lions, recently named to be the PR guy or co-PR guy for the Super Bowl this year.
That's a big job. Sylvester Stamps from the 20-yard line. Stopped at the 30 of Tampa Bay. John Miller on the tackle. Well, the Detroit Lions will be 6-9 in a few seconds' time. Tampa Bay will fall to 5-10, and the Lions can catch Chicago.
And if you look at Chicago against the 49ers and Detroit against at Atlanta, there's a real good chance Detroit will finish in 3rd place and Chicago will slip all the way to 4th.
Isn't that amazing? A Lions team that was 0-5 and laughed at early in the season. Well, this is what you call your basic prevent defense here. They were back 9 miles, but Mark Carrier with some nice running might break the shutout, and he does. Touchdown, Mark Carrier, as the zeros come up on the final play of the game. I've never liked the prevent. I sure didn't like the look of that one. Credit to the Buccaneers. Mark Carrier, 61 yards.
Unbelievable play here by Tampa Bay, and Mark Carrier on their last play of this 15th week of the NFL season. Watch this. Everybody's trying to keep the guy in bounds, but nobody's trying to tackle him. William White doesn't even try to get his hands on the guy. They're trying to surround him, not stop him. The last Detroit Lion is James Griffin, 34. He's going to try to push him out of bounds, but Carrier gets in there and scores. This has got to kill one guy on the field right now. Woody Widenhoff, the defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions.
Igwe gets the point after the time had expired, so the Bucs prevent a shutout, but that's all. Far too little too late. And the Detroit Lions have won 4 in a row. So for Randy Cross, this is Tim Ryan saying so long from the Pontiac Silverdome. The final score, Detroit 33, Tampa Bay 7. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League. Stay tuned for the NFL Today post.